Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Astrology Victoria. Today, with your host Tatiana. Dulcie is unfortunately not with us today. However, she is somewhere in spirit, sending some astrology energy to this topic that we're going to discuss today, which is a little bit in-depth look to the lunar eclipse in Taurus that is happening on the 19th of November, and what this means for you and how we can move through these invitations of the cosmic weather to move with our lives. And before we get into it, I would like to just invite you to subscribe, like, and share this video, um, and and subscribe to Astrology Victoria. Check out our offerings, and also I would like to remind everybody that we're having a contest of a book giveaway for our members, who just follow us, and we do have a Facebook group that you can join. And if you're not on Facebook, that is totally fine. You can submit your entry through email, and just subscribe to our channel to get like all this awesome content. And we'll be posting all the information for the book contest giveaway, which basically is just present any aspect of the month of November that you feel connected to, that you can represent in either an image or a little video, like short, less than a minute or less than 2 minutes, where you could either present something or be creative with how you want to present it. You can, wear some kind of archetypal feel of it, present an image, give a description. It just doesn't matter. We would like to read all of your participations, and then we will be giving away a book that we will be making available through a selection of astrology books in order to support the learning of astrology. So, well, that was that, a little bit convoluted. However, now let's start with our lunar eclipse in Taurus, which is happening on November 19th. So this is a partial lunar eclipse, and it will be happening at 27 degrees of Taurus. So where does this fall in your chart? Where does Taurus fall in your chart? So you have an idea of how it could mostly impact you. So if you know where in which house you have Taurus, then you can more easily know what area of life is going to be impacted. So for this, I would invite you to look at your natal chart and find where 27 degrees of Taurus is happening for you. So you can see, oh, might affect me in this area of my life. And also look to the house opposite, which is the Scorpio house, and see how that area is in connection with the other area of life. And then look also to Aquarius and Leo. This is the fixed cross. So we're looking at the fixed cross to see what areas of life can be in tension that is wanting to move you past something. So that's the first thing. Look where that is falling. Second thing, then our eclipse is in Taurus. So there will be lots of themes, or the theme of the eclipse is regarding all of the sense of value, security, what you need to survive, to what you really truly value, that gives you a sense of safety and security. It could be a material sense, but it's what you really value that is important for you in your life. And it does not look necessarily the same for everybody. But when you look within your needs, because it's the moon, you know what your needs are. Is what you need to feel good, to feel that your life has meaning. And with reassessing what you need, you also can see what you no longer need, or is no longer good for you or supporting your evolution. Anytime we have an eclipse, eclipses are like an evolutionary point or like a marker that always gives us an opportunity to jump, let's say, in consciousness a little bit, or have some kind of, okay, next step. The eclipses happen each there's eclipses season each like 6 months. So we're gonna have these seasons where there's markers, and these markers make you kind of, oh, am I in the evolutionary path, and what are the themes that need to come up so that I can move to the next cycle? Cycles happen like this, like a spiral. So basically are these checkpoints in the spiral, like a portal where we have situations in our lives that make us go more towards where we are supposed to go. So our oh, how is this? Wait a minute, something's going on here. Stop share. I'm going to share now the chart of our eclipse, so we can have an idea of what is going on. And again, eclipses happen when it's a full moon, first and foremost. So you see the sun is in opposition to the moon, and that is our eclipse. So it's a full moon this time around. And the difference between an eclipse and just a full moon or a regular new moon or full moon is that it happens close to the nodes. So you see the moon here is right next to the north node in Gemini. So the moon is in Taurus and the north node is in Gemini. So it will bring about the themes that we are completing from the whole Gemini new perspectives, learning about new things in the world, what we need, like having a bunch of information, conflicting information, different information. And now the moon being close to that node in Taurus is almost inviting, okay, what do I need in this world now? Not 6 months ago, 10 months ago, 3 years ago, now. What is of value to you now, with the perspectives you hold now, with what your life looks now? And for this, you see, we have this full moon in Taurus, which is an eclipse, of course, so close to the nodes. And because we know the nodes are those points of destiny, and the points of destiny, even though these points are just points in space, are not planets, they do have this sense that the spiral kind of moves upward towards where these nodes are. We always find what we're releasing and what we're moving forward to. This is why we see this in the axis of the eclipse, the south node and the north node. So on the opposite end of this eclipse, we have Scorpio energy. And we have this combo here of Mars, Mercury, and the sun. So the sun is conjunct Mercury, which allows us to shine light deeply into themes of the shadow things that we experience in our life, what we have attached or merged too much with, that needs to die. Because the energy of Scorpio is the energy of merger, of resources that are merged, or things that are always together. They're fused, and at some point this fusion needs to die to give birth to something new. And this is the time to look within at all the things that we're still enacting, that are patterns that we need to let go of, that are also things. It doesn't have to be a pattern or a psychological pattern necessarily, but it's the way we go about life, and especially when it has to do with like any kind of situation that we have merged with, that we're used to, that it needs to die, and we need to take a big deep look at it. And with Mars being also in the mix, Mars is in its own sign as well, diving deep. So this is the deep dive into those areas. And depending on where Scorpio falls in your chart and Taurus falls in your chart, it's in that area of life that you're going to be either looking at what you really need for yourself, versus what you have merged with others, and or your own mental, of psychological patterning things, anything that it's just like you just really need to let go of, to just like drop it, just yeah, let it go. But Scorpio, of course, doesn't want to let go. It's so hard because I'm so used to this fusion. So in this sense, this is a tug of war a little bit. This, this full moon just illuminates these certain things need to be let go of. And this is going to be also supported with there is an energy with Pluto also trining the moon, which supports transformation. It's a trine where it's saying, yes, let go of this, compost it, let it die, and there will be something new sprouting. And so this way we have to be like almost trusting a process that when we really let go of things that are dying, we need to let go of them and move forward with something that we know it's more, we need more. Now we do have to look at other things happening at the same time in the sky to put this also into context. So we do have a trine from Mercury to Uranus, and slightly off with the sun, that trine. And this also brings a lot of inspiration. So it's not just the depth and the shadow and the things we need to let go of, where we have been maybe things that are no longer good for us, but it helps us move towards something that we need to trust. It's almost like a dreamy energy. Like Mercury, Neptune brings up this capacity to almost tap into a dream, like behind the veil, and get these spiritual ideas. And Mercury is the mind. So it's the mind connected to a more compassionate way of speaking, being, and thinking. Almost like an invitation for a spiritual look at the shadow, because we're still looking at shadow here. So how can we look at this shadow with compassion as well? Because with Neptune, we have that aspect of also of compassion, especially in Pisces. So how these ideas that we suddenly just connect to are bringing us a more spiritual sense of why we need to release these things. So if you're completely disconnected from that sense of self, of looking within, well, everything might seem very tense and convoluted outside, so especially we do have a few squares here going on with Jupiter and the moon, and Jupiter and also the sun, Mercury. So Jupiter tends to blow everything in proportion. So it's not like a good or bad thing. Jupiter tends to bring optimism and hope, and is so optimistic that sometimes when we have squares, everything seems blown out of proportions, or could seem blown out of proportion. So there's a big sense of optimism, maybe like getting much more of an idea that you can actually actualize in your daily life. So there's changes coming in the mix, things you need to let go of, things that you're moving towards. A better sense of security for yourself is like a little bit of a go at your own, not in an airy sense, but how do I support myself? So this also brings the sense of I need more independence for my basic needs, my food, my income, my shelter. So there's this question, what do I need to feel okay? And with Jupiter, there's also tends to be like an overinflation of these ideas, ideals. Maybe everything seems just too good, and then yes, let's go for it, but there's a need for thought. And this is where Saturn comes in, and Saturn is also in, it's in a weak square to Uranus, as we can see here. There's a weak square. Do not mind these other aspects. Necessarily, they're not that major. There is still a weak square with Mars and a weak square to Uranus that is building up until December 24th. That square again of freedom, you know, Uranus here wanting something that frees you up to be more of who you are and what you truly need to be you. That's Uranus bringing this, like, but what do you need to be your own individual self in this, in this collective dream or creation. And Saturn in Aquarius is also bringing the structures that are societally, you know, it's Aquarius, so it talks about society in a certain sense, and Saturn is a social planet, so it's the societal fabric and what is good for everybody. That, and then at the same time, how does that support your freedom? So there's a tug of war of like needing to conform to certain structures that might be outdated while building new structures for yourself that are new and more supportive of freedom and of you getting your own resources, or something that feels good to you. And if you need to let go of people, of jobs, of places that you might held on for a long time, then so be it, because there is this impulse that there's something new, and that this new thing is obviously always better. It's evolutionarily better, and Uranus wants to awaken us, enlighten us. However, in this square that is forming and being more tense as we go, there's the tug of war between how can I do this and still be like responsible, like this is Saturn, have integrity, build something that I just can't build overnight with this square to Mars. Mars just wants to go and just let's just do this, let's just go. And then Saturn goes like, hold on, you know, not so fast, little one. And this can cause a lot of tension, almost like I know there's something better for me. I've been feeling this needs to change, to move forward towards something that's supporting my needs better. And at the same time, what are the things that I need to let go of here for that to happen, all the while keeping a sense of structure that is new and that makes sense within the fabric of society. So, oh my God, that's a lot. Is I want to do this, I want to be me, I need that, but I don't know who is going to provide that for me. Because in the end, it's like maybe you need to provide more for yourself. Taurus is what I get, what I accumulate, what I need, you know. And Scorpio is all that I share, what's merged, what's unseen, what's underneath. So there might be also a lot of energy of unearthing and literally looking deep into things that are not okay, not good, dirty, gross things that are putrefying. And it's like when you have to, you know, when you look in your fridge and you have like the sauce that has expired like I don't know how long ago and it's all moldy, but you have just not looked into it, and suddenly you see it because it's on the back of the fridge, and you move something and you see it, and then you open it and you're like, ooh, well, you're not gonna just put it back, right? And this is that energy. Don't put it back because it's not gonna work. You're not gonna eat it, just throw it. But you're like, oh, but you know, this is the sauce that Auntie Mary made for me, and oh, I like it so much. Maybe I should just keep it to remember Auntie Mary. And no, no, it's like, okay, and then you just let it go, and process complete. That was kind of silly. Anyway, this is a little bit more of the overview of this particular like eclipse. So around this time of November 19th, this is the time for you to really get into you and your relationships with others. You know, Venus also being here in Capricorn. We're just going to make a little note of this. And so in this supportive trine to Uranus, there is definitely a support towards individuation, trying new things. Maybe you're valuing new things as well. Maybe there's something that's different. And if you dare try it and see, you might find that there's something maybe different awaiting you. And Venus in Capricorn tends to be more like goal oriented, or it wants what it wants and it loves what it wants, and it's more serious. It's a more serious Venus, more committed as well in a certain sense to what it has, to what it loves and what it wants. And in this trine with Uranus, there's almost this, just try something different, dare to be different, you know. And this might bring things into your life, or even people that are make you like change like some things. You might even meet somebody or have an encounter that completely shifts your life around, and you like surprisingly, and like in the best way. It might not last forever, but it's like, wow, I had never seen this way. And then poof, suddenly there's a light bulb moment of eureka, and then poof, you move forward through that portal of the eclipse, going like, oh, there's other things, there's other people, there's other possibilities. You know, it's not just all that I want to hang on to, and I don't know, but like I don't want to let go of this. There's always going to be more opportunity, always. um so this is a little bit also supported by Mars here, Venus in a sextile with Mars, this the line here. It's like a relationship energy as well, and it's supportive of the action that we're taking towards looking deep inside this scorpionic realm, and what we want and what we're really obsessed about as well. Mars can be a little bit obsessive in Scorpio, and it could be obsessive into looking into that and digging it out, or just looking into it and just like holding more onto it. So with Venus here, there's like also a little bit of relationship energy. You know, what are also the relationships we're merged with, and the people? Can we trust the environment we're in? That's part of also the Scorpio energy, because in Scorpio things tend to be hidden, and when we bring light to it, we need to feel safe, Taurus, to feel safe, to be who we are. And for that, we need to make sure that we can trust our environment, that we can trust people, that we can really open up to be ourselves, and be ourselves with our shadow as well. This is part of the Scorpios. Like, this is me, and look at my yuck, but I want to see you and your yuck, so I can see whether or not we can move forward, or it's definitely a no-no. Yeah. Well, that's at least my take on this. So with this, I think I'm going to conclude here and give you this opportunity to move into this eclipse energy with consciousness. The idea of having astrology as a tool, you don't need to believe in it or go by it, or like look at the astrological weather all the time. Things are constantly inviting you to move. However, when you have a tool that you can look, you can self-reflect. Remember, it is your own life, it's your own reality you're creating, and co-creating with the reality of others to create a collective reality. So what are you letting go of? What's not good for you? Where have you not, like, what do you need to release, and where are you moving? What are you trusting that is so new, Uranus, and that's so new, that's going to support you, but that you feel that you are who you are. So the invitation again is bring awareness to it. The awareness to where you need to, how you're moving. And maybe journal a little bit. You know, give it this Mercury, Neptune, yeah, journaling time, or dreaming time. Dare to dream as well. Dare to dream. Dare to dream where you want to go, where you see yourself, and trust. So going inside, it's much more useful to shift the reality, so that when it comes outside, it's the one that you actually feel comfortable with. Because Taurus is also an earth sign. So in Taurus, it's a sense of tangible needs, right? So yes, assess your tangible needs and see how you can get that. All right, with this, I'm going to leave you here. So make sure to, if you like this video, please feel free to share with anybody who this can help, and subscribe to our channel. Look for our offerings, and if you want a personal reading with myself or Dulcie, you can look also for our options in the description below. Have a blessed day.
Bye.